Let's try this again. Let me share this. All right. Do I have audio? Checking with chat. Fuck it. I don't need to talk. Chat, if you can't hear me, I'm just going to type in here. Oh, sick. You hear me? Okay, then I don't have to type in here. Sweet. Okay, so yeah, so this first list, I'm going to try to build around an idea that the real Dragzin, Noah, came up with. I mean, he's really the best Targaryen player I've ever seen, and I basically am aping his list right now in a tournament where I got a really big win, which I'm really proud of. Um, Playing online on Sim. If you guys don't play on Sim, you guys, Isaac, if you don't play on Sim, you should check it out. It's really cool. Um, and then, but yeah, basically the way that list is built is it's with Drogo. So we'll go Drogo. Actually, I have it right here. Let me just grab it from you. Yeah, it's this one. Oops. Load it. So this is the list that I've been running, and this is actually, in my opinion, this is. Thank you, man. Yeah. So this is a list I've been building I've been running. Noah built this for a league that we've been playing, and I saw what he was doing, and I knew early on. I was like, I don't think anybody can beat this list. Like, I just don't. I think you'd really need to get lucky with the game mode and with some roles, but in general, I think that this is the first list that I've seen where you can just defeat the enemy with mobility, and you get to hold back a lot like a Lannister deck holds back and gets the counterplot whenever it wants, or intrigue and subterfuge. You should be doing that with your mobility when you're running Cav, is what I've found, especially with Targaryens. You should be waiting for the opponent to decide and commit and overcommit to try to catch up to you and stretch out, and then you can attack them as a response. And this list does it better than any I've ever seen because they have a Cav commander with Drogo, but also the dragon is just so nasty. People don't know how to really deal with the dragon, and even if they do, they have to get things right to do it. The dragon dictates where that fight happens. So, and Rhaegal is definitely the best because he throws out a weaken token. So just to talk a little bit about this list because I think it deserves a lot of conversation. So you have Drogo in the Blood Riders. So that's Warcry, which usually goes off because they're 5-up morale, meaning they can just throw out a vulnerable token. Basically, all of these cavalry units throw out a vulnerable token on the charge. Drogo just has to do a Warcry to do it. Um, the Blood Riders can't be weakened, which is insane, right? Also, the dragon kind of can't be weakened as well. You can weaken it, but it's not really going to affect it in the way that you want. So it can be weakened, but weakened doesn't really. It's not really effective on them. The Screamers, the weaken is effective, but to have a couple units that are insulated from token play in that way is really really good. And then Sundering and Vicious. And, I always thought Sundering and Crit Blow were the two best keywords in this game to like pair up with each other because you get extra, hopefully, you get extra hits, and those hits all get the bonus from -1 to the opponent's armor. I think Noah's convinced me that maybe it's Sundering and Vicious because they always debuff whatever test they're taking, whereas Crit Blow is hit or miss, Precision is hit or miss. So I've come around to that. I think that might be the case. I'm not 100%, but that might be it might be the top of the keyword combinations. Okay. Drogo gives you expert duelist, so basically you're always going to give him an extra wound. So now you have a unit. This is where the Blood Riders really get nasty. They're 7/6, right? With Drogo, they're 7 +1 wound, so basically 8 plus to 7 plus. So they don't degrade very much when they go down ranks. So they're extremely effective when they're still locked in. And you think about that versus like Lance Cav, when Lance Cav loses all of their hits, they're hitting on 6. They go down 1 rank, they're hitting on 4s. Um, and I think Blood Riders are maybe the best Cav in the game at this point, other than Tully Cav. All right, I'll give you that. You can spam Tully Cav, but I think Blood Riders are extremely effective, and a lot of times it's in a sneaky way. Okay. Also you have for Drogo, you have Iron Resolve, so perfect. Now he's basically out of 4 up, -1 wound, not going to take much damage from Panic. All right, so you have Rhaegal. Again, I think Rhaegal has been proven by Noah that it is the best dragon to take. I'm sure other people have proven this, by the way. I'm just saying the person that I saw start running Rhaegal over Drogon was Noah, and he was right because it protects the dragon. He's always going to be able to throw out a strategic weaken token to blunt the charge if someone has a charge. And actually, this saved me, got me down to 7 wounds, but I still had 1 wound left because I was able to throw out a weaken token on a unit that was about to hit me. So very very powerful to protect the dragon, and just the mobility that a dragon affords is crazy. All right, and then we got Dothraki Screamers with whatever upgrade they got. I'm not sure when they got upgraded or what from. Maybe they hit on 3s or instead of 4s. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but this unit is by far the best light cav in the game. You throw out. I mean, um, they're basically Greyjoy Reavers without going up with the pillage token, but like they hit just like that's what it is. They got Sundering. They hit just like those Reavers on their first strike, which is Sundering, and you have Furious Charge, so you're throwing out a vulnerable. Again, insane damage output with Sundering and making something vulnerable. Crazy, especially if you have rerolls. Um, so so these are extremely good. You don't have to put anything in them. Everything's expensive that you would put it in that you'd want. I guess you could get a martial training attachment, but we don't have room for that. So you run these two naked. You run Drogo in the Blood Riders, and you run Rhaegal. Uh, yeah, exactly. The Reavers are hitting pretty hard, just like Screamers and Reavers. That's a nasty offensive unit for pretty cheap. So to run the dragon, you have to run Danny, and there are 2 versions of Danny that you can run, but the best version and maybe the best of all these mother NCUs in the game, like Catelyn Stark, Alaria Sand, and I'm sure there's others that go down. They pick up a token, so they kind of like allow you to hopefully attack at your without being weakened. And then hers is the best ability, which she just gives you rerolls. I think Catelyn gives you highest ranks, which is good in certain circumstances. But with this Cav army, I really need those rerolls for if I'm coming over corpse pile or a bog, or if I'm engaged. Now I'm hitting like I'm charging again. So she makes this list go. Tycho, you just need Tycho, I think, with an army that has such bad armor. I think if you're running it without Tycho, you're going to be in trouble. And one thing to keep in mind with Tycho, I think Will heard Bob say this, so this is third hand. But I kind of noticed that Bob was doing this with his all of his healing. Is you take it gives you the chance to take and blunt a charge or blunt a hit, and then come right back up onto ranks. And if you have a way to get your rerolls or to get something else on, now they've kind of wasted their momentum, and you get to hit them back and get on top. So I think that's how you should be looking to use Tycho strategically, almost offensively, right? Like a counter punch, as opposed to like, oh, okay, well, I'm getting low. I need to heal this guy up, but he's not really doing anything right then. That's not the best target for it. It's when somebody is engaged, you have somebody down ranks, you just got counter charge. You need to come up and kill that unit that you already took down, or blunt the attack from the new unit. That's where Tycho helps you do that. Um, but yeah, you can't cut him from this list. And then last is Quaith. Quaith is, I think, so when I ran this at Wardens, I came in third place. Shout out Carl, shout out West Coast Bannerman. I came in third place at Wardens, and I didn't have Quaith. I had Miri. If I would have had Quaith, I would have been okay, I think, because Quaith gives you the ability to, sure, get out of danger if you're in a bad spot, but she also gives you the ability um, to maintain a charge position. So say you get into a position, but they're going round one, right? Your last move, you got up into charge range for one of your screamers or the blood rider. They're going first, and they're going to charge you, right? Because you're about to do this to maybe a cav unit, or you got close enough whether it's an auto in charge. So they're about to charge you. You pop Quaith, and then they have to think strongly about if they still want to do that, because you get a move when they take their move. So as they move into position, or if they start to charge, you just move back. You can actually just get out of charge range, and then that charge fizzles because they don't have anything to charge at. So she's incredible for that. But the utility on Quaid is insane. I think a big reason why I was able to win that tournament match yesterday was because he had a unit coming down, killing my dragon, and the next unit, we were double engaged, both of us. He had uh, his Royal Guard unit, so his Lannister, so Lannister Royal Guard with Gregor, and then he had Knights of Casterly Rock right next to him. They were double engaged with my dragon and a screamer unit that were both hurting. And then he was coming down with his brigands, right? And so he was about to kill my dragon. I couldn't I couldn't retreat because of how I was positioned with my screamer unit. So he was going to overrun into my screamers. But I had another screamer unit on bottom engaged with um his cavalry unit, his lance cav. And what happened was, just at the last second, I was like, oh, I can't really use Quake to get this screamer unit out of this spot. So I'm just going to take that overrun. At the last second, I was like, you know what? I'm going to put it on this other screamer unit that's at full health against a full health Lance Cav I'm engaged with. And if he can't kill that screamer unit that he's going to overrun into with his brigands, then these two units are still engaged. And so I retreated back behind them. And exactly that happened. I think I survived with a couple of wounds with that screamer unit, kept these two units engaged. They're flanked to me. I rear charged the Knights of Casterly Rock, and I think I got 11 wounds through, because also the -2 the panic, um, and or it might have been 10 wounds. I think he was on 2 wounds left. But that changed the game. And honestly, I should have lost that game if I couldn't have done that move. I would have lost that game. I had a full Knights of Casterly Rock, double engaged with my screamers. It wasn't like I was going to get that vulnerable or anything. So anyway, that's Quaith. Quaith is the drink that stirs the straw that stirs the drink. I think they said. Chat, say what's up. It was kind of funny. I think that was good. All right, chat. You can be quiet. I don't care. It's fine. I'll just keep talking at you. Anyway, so this is the list. This is the list that really, I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can stop running this list. Like, I don't know if there's ever a reason not to run this. But what I do want to do is tinker around with this list a little bit and see if there's a way to get another thing that Noah showed me is really nasty, which is let's do it right here. We're going to remove all of these. We're going to put in the vets. And so a lot of you know about the veterans. Basically, they can take their cav. Yeah, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Um, the vets, basically, they can do their cav maneuver. They can fire quick fire, so fire a bunch of shots into your unit, and then they can charge off of that, so they can basically double attack. You can double this up with what's his name, Jorah Mormont, who has scout openings, right? So now you can scout openings a unit that this unit's about to fire into, and now your ranged attack gain rerolls in precision, and your charge gains rerolls in precision. It's if you can get the combo off, it's one of the most disgusting combos in the game. The only problem with this unit is that actually I think they got a buff. I think they used to be 5/5, just like a screamer unit, but it looks like they're 4/5 now, so they're way more tanky than that's a huge jump. Going from 5 up armor to 4 up armor, it's surprisingly important. It makes a big difference. And then the other thing that they have is swift retreat. And so this is an interesting thing that Noah was doing to me. Uh, Also, just shout out. I mean, this guy has me inspired on Targaryens in a way that I haven't been pretty much since I tried them and realized they were very tough to use. So Noah's the master of this stuff. So one thing to do is give them, yes, this outrider or this blood rider. So that means you probably can't use the blood riders, I think, or maybe you can. I got to double check on that. But this blood rider, now they can't be weakened, which is incredible. They have Sentinel, which is great for moving into position so that you can get that shot and then that 6 up charge. Remember, when you get that quick fire shot, you can scoot up 2, right? So you can close 8 inches on your cav move and then charge from there. So that's really helpful as well. But now you also have elusive escape to pair with swift retreat. So when you get attacked back by an opponent, now you get to re-roll your retreat distance, which you already get 6 plus whatever, and then you have to and then they don't get to pivot and they become weakened. So now you know this unit's gonna, yeah, exactly, you know this unit's gonna be getting attacked, right? They're gonna be getting in people's face, doing a lot of damage, and you're gonna get attacked back. But he was fighting my Martell units that had gang up, and their only plan was to just get the gang up going. And every time I would attack back, he would be able to get off of me, and so I couldn't double team him. So gang up, I've learned is just it's a really tough ability to make work unless the opponent has no choice, right? But like there are ways to stop gang up, and this was an incredible way to do it. So I want to build a list around this with you guys and just see like what we can come up with. The first thing I need to get confirmed is if you're only using one blood rider, can you use any one blood rider from the blood riders, or do you have to use a specific one? Does anybody know that? You can figure that out while I figure this out. It just means we would just have to drop the blood riders, but right now I want to keep them the way it is. Thank you, thanks, Christian. If we're going all cav, we got to keep Quaith. I think we got to keep Tycho. If we cut the dragon, there's a chance we can cut Khaleesi, but I think this is too many points to run without. Yeah, we only have 5 points left here. So we might want to try cutting Khaleesi. And that gives us 9 more points. How do we do this? We might also just cut the Blood Rider too. I mean, I love the Blood Rider, but really this needs to go off of this unit. And also like the other list is very much a lot of sundering, a lot of vulnerable on the charge sundering, but it's not a lot of hits. It's a lot of like effective hits. But I wonder if this list maybe fits better for matching up against like free folk or something. Like if you think about that blood rider unit coming in or sorry, the vet unit coming in, getting 7 shots with rerolls on fours. Maybe you make 4 hits through that, and then you charge 7 more hits on threes with rerolls and precision. You're probably gonna take like 2 ranks off of a really weak unit like that, or get close to it. And so I wonder if we build this list around just putting out more shots as opposed to having, 2 kind of Death Star units rolling at the same time. Because I don't know if I have enough to support them. It works? He's the only Blood Rider you can do that way. Wow, okay. See, Noah's done his research on this. I don't think he was running Blood Riders in that list that we were playing, but I think he was running Grey Worm. Um, but that's incredible. Okay, well then that makes me think we keep it like this, and we got to find another a way to do this. So we have what 9 points left. Do we want? We need Quaith. 9 points. Damn, that's not money. See, that's the problem. Is Jorah kind of gums things up here? I think a little bit. Hmm. Let's see. I mean, we can go. Maybe we. I don't know. The Death Star is nasty to have these 2 units rolling around, but I just think that you kind of need more bodies on the field to absorb counter charges and things like that. And Jorah can't do that. He enables this kind of super combo, but I think that maybe Jorah gets cut too for now. Jorah will bring in if we have room, but I don't think we're going to. Well, if I cut Jorah, then I have 13 points left, which means we can do some interesting things. But we are down to 2 NCUs, so this might be a 6 activation list. I could also add another NCU instead of Jorah, and then I think we're back to 9. That might not be enough to do much on the board. Let's see. I would like to see if I can get an Outrider unit in here, just to see if we're adding shots, right? The Outrider unit with maybe not. I just wonder because I have been kind of kicking around this idea of double outriders and putting them out there just because they have so much mobility and archers are great. Just put 2 of them out there and say, if you cross into this area with your units, you're just going to take a ton of shots. And maybe that's the move: is you run the veterans up, let them hit, and then when they get attacked, they just retreat back into double outrider cover. That would be kind of a nasty idea. I don't know how good it is, but so this is I think what we've been doing in our meta for a long time is when we list build is you think about it, you think of and you try it and you build it out and then you say does this have legs? Is this something I would want to go to the game store, get my ass smoked with, not really learning. Now I'm just talking about what happens with me. But no, but does this list have merit for you to try and like make something out of it? So and now with the use of Sim, shout out to Will for giving me a heads up on Sim. If you're not playing Song of Ice and Fire Simulator, um, I would really recommend it. Simulator is a very a very useful tool because it does all the measuring for you, right? Like a lot of that like messiness of the game is kind of compacted down. It seems like the games kind of go faster. It's fun to play with your friend and just talk over the phone. You don't have to drive. You don't have to get your minis together. So I'm going to be playing Sim a lot more, and I'm probably going to be streaming a lot of Sim games here in the near future. So hopefully that's cool. All right, so we have 1 point left. I don't know. I don't. I don't love it. Maybe we drop one of these guys. We have 7 points left. So anything to put out. I mean, like one thing we could do is we could bring Jorah back, and then we could. No, it wouldn't work. That brings us to 3. Yeah, that I don't think Jorah fits, not with the Outriders. Anyway, all right. Well, there's an idea here. We're working on this. I also wanted to check out a Martell list if anybody's interested in that. Martell's my faction, and let's see here. Yeah. So and Bobby Knuckles is dabbling in my faction. Shout out to Bob. He's gonna come here in a little bit, and we're gonna try to learn Sim together. But yeah, so Martell is my faction. I feel like Martell is just oh, okay. Okay, yeah, you wanna hear some thoughts on Martell. After the update, I think Martell it's a little bit behind still. They have some nice things to try, but just in general, I've had a really hard time using Martell. Um, they're just too weak in combat, and a lot of times their stuff stacks, and it's very oppressive to play against. But the trick is just run straight at the person and smash them, and they're going to melt. Oberyn, I think, is a great one. There's an Oberyn build where let me show you that first. Probably the best one that I've had in a while. I think I have him in Sun Spears or Dervishes. So they have elusive escape that helps to protect them a lot from getting double teamed. Precision always, and then crit blow if you're attacking enemies that haven't activated this round. So that's pretty cool. I mean, you're just stacking. You need sixes for either of those to go off. So that's not the best thing. Also, swift retreat. So they have swift retreat, elusive escape. That combo, the same combo that veterans had when I put that rack. I can't remember what his name, Rakdos or something. What is this magic? With that Blood Rider in there, it gives them that combination, which is really nasty. You escape when they hit you. You freeze them so you can get into their flank, and then they can't pivot, and they get a weaken token on top of it. It's perfect. Um, Oberyn, just so you know, Oberyn has the ability to throw Manticore Venom on. I think it's anybody he hits, but I need to get that clarified if it's anybody or if it's or if it's the first person that he hits. I'm pretty sure he can save it. But basically, Manticore Venom makes it so that your opponent cannot heal wounds from that point on, and every time they activate, they gain a vulnerable token. If they're all vulnerable, they take a wound. So you can just kind of spam vulnerable tokens on that unit. They're just going to take wound, 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 wound. Which I think definitely um, definitely piles up. And then the good thing is they're already vulnerable when you want to charge them and finish them off. So that works really well. Very nasty poison, which I love. Martell. I love that they have poisons. They're a lot of fun to use, and I think Martell, in my opinion, I just want to go off on a riff here. I think Martell are the absolute best faction in terms of the way that they're built to function. They function as a different type of faction than any other faction in the game. I mean, Greyjoy have pillage tokens. That's a cool mechanic. But the way Martell are set up, it's always to feint one way and force the opponent to react in a way that is suboptimal, and then you're trying to compound those sort of the opponent making the choice to say, all right, I have two evils, I'm going to choose the lesser of the two, but somehow those start to compound, and if they keep making that decision, then that's what should ultimately kind of spell their undoing. It's a very delicate balance because when they're powerful, they are extremely powerful, and when they got nerfed, it really took them down. The main thing that bothered me with the nerf is just they hurt their healing, and that's I think what Martell need more than anything is they need healing on top of using Tycho. Like you shouldn't. I guess you have to use Tycho, but Tycho's not enough because all of their units go down ranks, and you can't keep them all unengaged. So yeah, you help one, but you're going to lose one or two, and then by the time that guy you helped is back effective, it's too late. So anyway, that's just me riffing on where Martell is right now. But I can't stop tinkering with them because they have so many cool things to use. Christian, you're saying they need better staple NCUs. I mean, they have some interesting ones. Doran might end up being a staple NCU after this update. He has some really really cool abilities. So we'll take a look at that. Uh, all right. The one other thing I wanted to say about this list is we'll just kind of put them in here. Arya Hota. This is one of the things that really helps Martells. So basically, you have battle plan and mark target. So stacks really well with with Oberyn's unit because whoever he marks, you can just toss out vulnerable tokens on whenever you want to. Um, the other thing is battle plan, right? Battle plan is um, it's an incredible ability. Obviously, Peter has the best battle plan in the game, um, and uh, and yeah, with the Martell deck, their deck is so juiced that if you can battle plan up rising temperatures when you want it, they also have this ability, which or this guy, Ares Oakheart, which goes. I mean, really, you want to talk about staple NCUs? This is my staple NCU with Martell because I can, if you if you go first, I can when I go first round two, sit Ares Oakheart on the swords which you need the swords. You need to target your units with the swords to get my cards off of them, right? So rising temps doesn't come off unless you touch the swords, touch a unit with the swords. Unbound, unbent, broken, -2 to your panic test. Doesn't come off unless you kill one of my units or target them with the swords. And then Roinish Vengeance just doesn't come off. It doesn't turn on until one of my units dies, but it doesn't come off. So you can have those three really oppressing uh, cards. You can have six of them back basically if you have Arya to pull them up. You can just be tossing out debuffs on everybody. Plus, Oberyn comes with his own debuffs. He has his own poison that he throws on people. So it just gets oppressive. That's really what this list is about. It's just about just making your opponent very upset. But I would say Ares Oakheart is definitely a staple NCU for Martell. But I want to get into something that Bob kind of showed me. He got me excited about. Um, so this goes with the NCU. So we're going to use Doran Commander NCU, which gives you Arya Hota, right? So Arya Hota, coordinated assault, when charging, deals one hit for each remaining rank. Okay, so that's when you're charging. Your these are dealt hits, right? You don't have to roll for these. And I think okay, Furious Charge. So you're also throwing out a vulnerable, and then sneakily, he's going every time he passes a morale test, he heals one, like Dauntless, but it's kind of improved Dauntless because if you have the crowns, you're going to restore two every time, which is pretty cool. So you put him in a unit. You could put him in a unit with really good panic, but in this case, I think I think Bob has him in this Golden Company swordsman unit. So where I typically looked at putting him, and Will ran this against me one time, is I put him in, or yeah, I did this, but Will did this to me, and it was really effective. You put him in Dark Star Retinue, and now you have a 5-up morale unit that is going to heal he's going to heal 2 when he's on the crowns every time he passes a panic test. Also, his own they have their own like built-in healing from Fueled by Slaughter, and and then Overrun. I think that's really interesting, but I think that's all kind of built on. Uh, there's something weird about having Fueled by Slaughter and Crit Blow, but you have to be down ranks for that stuff to kind of work, or for Fueled by Slaughter to work. Um, and you also the healing with Hota, right? You need to be down ranks. So I don't know if I love this unit for him, but I want to get to what Bob had. So he had Golden Company officers in here, or Golden Company swordsmen, right? So adaptive style. When this unit attacks or is attacked, before rolling attack die, choose one. This unit gains +1 to defense and +2 to panic. Again, if you need tank down and just heal up, you can use this if you haven't used this already this round. And oh, is this per round or oh no, it's an order. So you only get this once, huh? Okay. All right, interesting. I think that was the big nerf to this unit, right? They used to have this if you chose it, you had it for the round. Now it looks like it's just for that turn. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I don't know. I might be wrong on that. But either way, what you're doing is when you're attacking, you're triggering crit blow and sundering. A great again a great combo. You always have rerolls because of the Mastercraft longsword. So crit blow with rerolls, that's what you want. And then you also get these plus three hits if you're charging, and you also throw out a vulnerable when you're charging. So I think Bob is all about the min max and all about having something that can just alpha strike something. This is an extremely alpha strike type combination here. Crit blow, sundering, plus three hits, vulnerable on the charge. And then you think about Aryahota. One of the sneaky things about him, it's not on his card, but it's on Doran's card. Uh, each time Doran claims a zone, you may replace that zone's effect with Arya may pivot and then perform a march. So you want to talk about getting that unit in somebody's flank when they have no idea it's coming. That's any zone. He doesn't have a lot of his stuff is like off of the crowns, but he can take any zone and replace. So you have a replace zone ability NCU here. Now that's something that I think Martell does lack in terms of NCUs. They don't really have a replace NCU. So this is cool. I mean, you have to use them as your commander, but this is cool. This fits their NCU suite a bit better than I thought originally. Um, so yeah, you can also retreat Hota's unit. So if you have like a charge lined up and the unit's already activated, you can just retreat off and then smash them on the next turn and get that charge bonus. Get the vulnerable, get the ranks as hits. That's pretty nasty. Yeah, it's just one attack. Thanks for checking on that, Christian. All right, so what else do we got here? Okay, I have this building in my head. I have a couple ways to build it, but I'm gonna build the stupid way first and just see how silly it is to Christian. He seems like the only one watching anymore, but we'll see. We'll see if you think it's funny. So now that I have that one punch, I want to have a two punch. So actually, I might even show this to Christian already, so you can laugh at me live as I build it. So now we bring out the Darkstar Retinue, which have the crit blow. And the only real way to give them sundering in this is to throw a bar of sand in there. So now they have crit blow and sundering. They have a healing. They have one of the best healing keywords there for Fueled by Slaughter. So as they go down ranks, crit blow, sundering, you're going to be smashing units coming back. Bringing your health back up. Also, Uncontrolled Rage. I don't think this is going to go off very often, but basically they auto six a charge when they activate, and if they can charge an enemy, they do a morale test. If they fail it, they charge and they auto six it, which is like a sneaky way to auto six a crazy charge out of nowhere. It could also pull you into a bad spot, so that's a little bit worrisome, but ultimately I'm not really worried about it. I think this build is going to have just too much to deal with. Okay, so the next one, the way I built this, Sand Skirmisher with Spearman. You know how this goes. This is just one of the best combos in the game. And I haven't been running them as much because there's the lack of healing. I ran double skirmishers for like 3 or 4 months, and I was fucking unstoppable. That was when I had Harmon Oler to supply aid with the Spearman. It was, and also I think I was cheesing Walder Frey to like, as long as he would land on his own, I could do another move or attack, and I could shoot off the move. So I just had so many attacks. It was so fun. Can't do it anymore, but this is still an incredibly dangerous unit. They have quick fire and scout openings. So start a turn, you mark a unit. You can scout openings that unit. That's going to give you rerolls and precision on attacks against that unit. Then you can shoot, and now you're throwing 8 dice with rerolls and precision. It's going to rip a unit up. You don't even have to engage it. You just shoot. Now, the problem with these guys is that you're always going to kind of call forward the charge. You're always going to be like within range of charging unless you're in their flank and their infantry. But you are in the danger zone. So you do have to do enough damage to make that make sense. Boldness and Courage, again, +1 to their attack die, which is great for these guys because they degrade really bad, right? So instead of 754, now you're going to be 875, right, on your last rank. But that's way better than 754. Um, so cool, that unit. And then last, and I think this is where it all goes. This is how you make this list go. Um, you're going to throw in a unit that has often been forgotten about. Oh, Harmon was nerfed. Yeah, Harmon was nerfed, and it broke my fucking heart. Uh, yeah, he was. Yeah, it's listen, these units were made for Harmon, right? The Spearmen. Let's talk about they're next, so they do go in this list, and I haven't been able to find a place for them since Harmon, but they have 4 up, 774, so they keep throwing at highest ranks even if they're down a rank. They have set for charge, which is awesome if somebody comes to try to get them. They at least take a little hit. And then attack reposition is sneakily one of the most special abilities in this game. So super useful to get into range of a charge, to make a tough charge a better charge, to get out of range of a charge. You can use this in a lot of different ways. So I'm going to run them in this list. But the cool part about this was they're 5'6". So when Harmon was there and he had supply aid, he would basically just sit in the center of my two skirmisher units who were doing all the fighting, and I would just be in range to just toss. I'd take 3 off me, I'd throw 4 on one of the skirmisher units. I could do that for 2 or 3 rounds, and the skirmisher units just, were able to tank some of those counter charges, but still be super effective round after round. Um, I don't have that anymore. But what I do have is something that I think Jay Fikes talked to me about at Wardens, and I was too in my head about Targaryens to think about it. But recently, I've figured it out that Damon Sand 1 point attachment fits so well in this list because you have two extremely I want to charge you units. These are kind of like your 1-2 punch, and you could run this guy in the middle, and now you can do unsuspecting charge, which is when a friendly unit in long range activates, that unit may not be targeted by enemy orders or tactics cards this turn. It must perform a charge on its action as its action this turn. So you use tack reposition to make this an extremely short charge, and then or auto in charge for one of these two insane units, and then now they have the cover of unsuspecting charge, meaning the opponent can't hit them. So if you're fighting Martell, that's what I know the best. You can't hit them with like Dune tactics to blunt the impact of that charge, lowest ranks or whatever it is. You can't hit them with superior positioning. I would love for you to hit me with superior positioning. It never works, so just get that card out of your hand. But there are a million cards that target the enemy, and maybe not a million, but there are a lot of cards that target the enemy on a charge. Um, the other thing is you can't be targeted by orders. So now you think about set for charge. You think about um, shield wall, and in my opinion, in Sacramento, those abilities are almost you can't even run them against good players because Macquaro turns them off. So Mitchell's always going to be able to turn your protective orders off. Bob runs Lannister a lot of the time. I think he's back in Lannister. So you have a million ways to turn that. You have Tywin. Now you have those new units that turn abilities off on the charge. Um, so actually, I'm not. I got to check and see. I don't think no, because we're talking about turning off those abilities ourselves. We're trying to get some of that action basically. So yeah, we have. So I think I got to try this out. We got to see how it works. But because the one thing that I worry about is that this says that the unit charging can't be targeted, but we know the targeting rules in this game are just fucking ass. So it's very possible that that's not enough coverage, and you really need to turn off like no abilities. No, I think that's what Macaro says. He says like you can't do anything to anybody this turn. That's very good. But anyway, I really like this idea of being able to have these two hitter units, sending them up the field have the Martell Spearman unit in the middle, and kind of dare someone to charge it. Maybe even lead the fight with that unit, right? And if they charge it, now you have a perfect. You can even get into somebody's flank, right, and hit them with these crazy charging units. Um, and then the other thing is, I think after I set this up, I think I threw Tycho in here, but I might even do Walder. I'm gonna try Walder in this because it's a 2 NCU list. Once per game, when he claims a zone, choose one. Well, or choose two, right? So you can throw out the pizza on somebody. Probably not that. You can heal 3 wounds, and at the start of the next round, you become first player. So this would be a really nasty thing to pair with some of these fucking Death Star units. So yeah, I'm gonna try Walder in this. And then the other thing is points. We have 38 points with 2 left, right? But Martell, like I can't get another NCU, so we got to put more. We got to put basically 2 more NCUs on here, and Martell has some really interesting ones. So the first one, I'm going to do Edric Dane. So basically, this gives the retinue unit rerolls if it's attacking someone with higher ranks than it. So now you have that crit blow, you have sundering, but you also have a way to get rerolls when you need it because you need to take them down ranks so that you can heal off of the intimidating, heal by slaughter. So this guy sneakily gives you some rerolls, gives you a little bit more effectiveness as you go down ranks. Yeah, you're still hitting on 6, but you go down to 4 at the bottom rank, so you got to get some of those hits through. And he also has Dauntless, 5 up morale. You're probably going to get at least 2 or 3 wounds healed up, maybe more as the game goes on. So yeah, that's the additional attachment I'm throwing in this unit. And then the other one, this is what I really want to try. I know this is disgusting, but I want to throw Quentin Martell, so outflank, in the Sand Skirmisher unit. So my idea is you just basically run the 2 hitter units straight up the board. You have the Martell Spearman right in the middle of them, getting ready to try to give one of them a charge. And then you outflank the skirmishers, which are a very nasty unit, especially in your flank if you're an infantry unit, behind someone. Maybe they use their turn, their activation, or they use the horses to turn and face, right, so that they can at least engage the unit that they're about to get ripped up by. And then the skirmishers, on the next turn, are gonna do scout openings, precision and rerolls. Fuck that unit up. They're gonna take a kind of a blunted charge from that unit, and then you might be able to use cunning ploy, or if they didn't use the horses, you could use the horses and get a maneuver off of that, and then shoot them again off quick fire, right? So now you have this insane threat that just shows up in the side of your army and your flank, and you have these 2 insane charging units coming up. I just think it would be fun to play, and maybe fun to play against. It's a 6 activation list. I don't typically love to do that, but I do think that the pass tokens make it so that if you can use those turn 2 and 3 or something, or maybe 1 and 2, you can get to the point where you're engaged, and now your super units are starting to like tear through the opponent. So anyway, yeah, I wanted to build this idea, and then from here, yeah, any comments from anybody watching? Do you think this is stupid? Do you hate it? Yeah, me too. All right. So this is one way to do it. The other way is to remove these guys. I think remove this guy and build it out this way. So I want Ilaria in here because she's like that mother unit, which is going to always pick up a token, so you're never weakened, right? And then I also wanted to try this unit, Nymeria Sand, right? So she got a buff. Basically, if you're running 3 NCUs, the opponent's running 2 or 3. By the end of like the first few turns of a round, the NCU board is probably going to be full. So now you're throwing an influence out on a unit that will have vicious, crit blow, and +1 movement. And as you can see, there are going to be 7 points remaining. So now you just put in a really nasty kind of flank coverage unit, so that you don't get flanked by someone's cav. and you put this spear guard, sorry, royal guard out there, martial training, so they get their rerolls, they throw out a vulnerable, shield wall, so they can take a big charge, hopefully, and still be okay. And then if that's the target for Nymeria, now you're going to have vicious crit blow and +1 movement to make up for their 5-inch movement. Um, and so now you have like a third, almost like a third Death Star unit. It's like a mini Death Star here. So you have these three units. There's something about them. Until I play them and somebody just kills them off the bat, and I'm really mad that I put all the points into these three units. I think there's something fun to look at here, and to play around with. So anyway, I have, Martell continue to break my heart. Christian, thank you. Outflank on skirms. Uh, okay, cool. Isaac, it makes sense. That's what I'm going for. Yeah, the other thing I was just thinking, Christian, about the outflank on the skirms, you could also, if you brought Walder, you could do that shitty thing that you could say, I'm going first next turn. And then I think you can outflank. I know Mitchell does this. You can outflank a unit, then go first so that you don't even have to wait for them to turn to you. And then you can blah, blah, fire a bunch of shots in them. You have a 14-inch. If you use that quick fire, you have 14 inches that you can threaten with the skirmisher, right? You move up 6, you shift 2, and then you fire for another 6 inches. So that's 14 inches that you can threaten. So pretty much if either side, as long as they don't have cav there, I mean, even if they do, if you use Walder, you get to shoot that cav before they get to turn and hit you. It's way better against infantry, though, if they have infantry on the flank. All right, cool. So you do think that looks pretty cool to have outflank on the skirmishers? All right, I think so too, and to still be able to throw boldness and courage on them to fix their kind of their stack, their what is it called? The way they degrade their attack, the way that their attack degrades. So anyway, these are a couple of ideas that I wanted to throw around, play with, and hopefully you guys thought it was fun. If you have any thoughts on how I can make these lists better, or if you liked any of the combos, or if you want to give Noah or Bob or Will a shout out for the things that they've, a lot of this I'm building on their shoulders right now. So I try to give them a shout out for sure. Awesome. And yeah, everybody in the chat, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. This was fun, and hopefully we can do this more often. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Oh, sign up for the Patreon. I'm gonna start doing these exclusive for the Patreon at some point soon. So sign up for the Patreon so that we can get some more money there. And I buy a bunch of stuff for our local scene out of the Patreon. Oh, and while we're at it, I just want to give a big shout out to Christian. Thank you so much for donating all of the tactic stuff that you won at LVO. Christian's first place at LVO. He got a bunch of stuff as prize support. Simon's really slow at getting that to him. I think that's going to be here like next year, early next year. But he's donated it to our scene, which is really, really cool of him. So shout out to Christian. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys next time. All right, bye.